Most of you don't know what a business is. A business is money in. A business is nothing else but money in. It's not money out. It's not your accountant. It's not your logo. It's not your website. A business is money into a bank. So, a drug dealer who has money going into his pocket is more of a businessman than someone with a registered trade logo and an accountant and all this garbage who ain't getting paid. You own a business if you're getting paid. That's what a business is. Cash is first.
Cash is the lifeblood of any business. And this used to be like widely known. This used to be, obvious. These days you have these things where they run on like venture capital money, they run on loans, they run on debt, they run on like family money, and they burn money like a house on fire before they ever, like for years on end. Like everyone knows the whole, in business school, they love to teach the Amazon story where he starts it and then for a decade or something, they're losing millions every single year. And now it's being like propped up. Like now it's the biggest business in the world, or a huge business anyway. So this is the way that you have to start. No, it's not. It's retarded. Like it's actually stupid. Yes, if you have access to unlimited capital and you can sell your idea and you can sort of get that going and build the next Google or Amazon, good for you, man. Go for it. But chances are you're a relatively normal dude or a relatively normal girl and you're just starting your business. In that case, it's money in. That's what we're all about. I'm not here to teach you how to set up a business that needs 60 million in venture capital. That doesn't make any sense. I'm here to teach you how to set up a business that does not require endless resources. Take your idea, you get it to the market, you start getting money in. That's the most important thing. Or, you need at least $1 million in capital before you can even think of, no, that's not a thing. That's not real.
I say to people, start a company. How would you start a makeup company? And they go, okay, well, I'd find some makeup and I'd get a logo and I would start a trade. I'd get a trademark and then, I'd need stock. Listen to all the things they're mentioning. Find makeup. We're going to have two things. We have things that cost money and things that make money. As a business, your primary concern is always making money. And when people think of how to start a business, all they start thinking about is how to spend money. Oh, I need to find a makeup brand. I find some makeup and test it out and then get a logo and get some labels made and get a warehouse and get a website and spend. Where's the money in? Where's the money? This is a business. Where's the fucking money? You're talking about spending money. I'm talking about making money. So as a hustler, you always have to be about making money. Money in is a business, not money out. The amount of people I've spoke to said, I have a business. I go, what have you got? Oh, I've got this, and I've got a registered trademark, and I own this. And I know you've all watched Dragon's Den, and you think this shit's important with your registered trademark, and you own this, and you got the logo, and you got the labels, and you got the product, and you got blah, blah, blah. You're not making any money. No one's paying you.
Yeah, Tate is a master at sort of cutting out the BS, all of the bullshit arguments, and he does it here very fluently. I have people asking me, like, should I use this color for my logo, or do you think this is better? What kind of paper should I use for my letterhead? Bro, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You need to get money in. That's your main priority right now. Cut out all the BS. Please stop being worried about all the taxes and the trademarks and people stealing your idea. That's not a thing. Just get going, get money in. Because most ideas never come to fruition because of all that bullshit.
It's not a business if no one pays you. It's a business when people are paying you. Until then, it's circle jerk bullshit. It is much better to have this right and this wrong. Understand me? It's much better to have this right and this wrong than the other way around. That is extremely important for you to understand. If I had to start a makeup brand, I would do none of this. Zero. Do you know what I'd do? I'd make a website with makeup on it and prices, and I'd start advertising. Bang! Now I'm making money. I'm getting orders. I don't have any makeup. I don't have a warehouse. I ain't got a logo. I ain't got a trademark logo. I ain't got nothing, but I'm making money. With money, you can fix the problems. So when I've got money in my bank, then I email everyone, the product you've ordered, the one you're interested in is in such high demand that we're sold out. There'll be a slight delay in delivery of your product, but don't worry, we're going to give you one for free. Or we're going to give you a free gift.
Very important, by the way. This is a very old strategy, the bootstrapping. If you read successful business guys' books, biographies, how they started their business, this is extremely common. And if you don't pay attention, you might see this as being disingenuous or screwing over the customer. And what's very important to notice is that what he just said was you send the email, you send the message to the buyer, basically saying, hey, unfortunately, there's going to be a delay. But then you give them something extra. So you compensate them for loss of time or any inconvenience caused. So that's super important. You can't do that and not give them anything extra. You need to compensate them. But at least you got the data in. So you can do this in a way where both parties actually win.
Thanks for being a valued customer. Now this person's going to wait. They're like, free gift. Okay, I'll chill. I'll wait. Now you have 3 or 4 weeks to find some fucking makeup to put in the fucking mail. But at least you got money. You got money in the bank. You've spent none of your own money or hardly any. You got money coming in. And now you got to find a way to fulfill the orders. That goes back to business lesson number 1, speed. Now you got to quickly find some makeup, find a logo, stick it on, put it in the fucking mail. But doing that makes more sense than this. What if you do all this shit and then you try and advertise and no one buys? Then you've lost. If we do it my way, I advertise, no one buys, I ain't lost anything.
Super important. Every business guy that I know, that I've ever talked to, has made this mistake, me included, where you're so sure, you know this idea is going to kill it. This offer is going to crush. And so instead of testing it small and testing the waters first, you just go all out, go for it, and then it flops. It's a massive bomb. It doesn't work at all. And now I wouldn't say you're all in, but you've spent significant resources and money and time into it, and then you find out it's actually shit. You're wrong oftentimes. That's why you test, which is what he's talking about. You test small. Business is a lot of like investing, where you mitigate or you reduce the size of your losses by testing small, and then when you hit a winner, you go for it. You double down on it.
Big whoop. Who cares? No one wants my makeup. Oh well, good thing I don't have 500 boxes of it sitting in my fucking bedroom. Like you dorks. A business is money in. When you want to start a business, your number one concern is, how do I get money in? Nothing else. Everyone who starts a business starts talking about everything else. We need an office. Why do you need an office? No one's paid you yet. And you're talking about an office? I need a new laptop. Why? No one's paid you yet. You're talking about a laptop? You don't need anything until people start giving you money. Money in is a business. Money out is vanity. It's very easy for me to think of a business, buy an office, buy laptops, hire staff, get an accountant, sort out the tax records, register the company online, get business cards, get a logo and get that trademarked. And I'm doing all this shit. I'm spending all this money, wasting all this time, and no one's paid me anything. It ain't a business.
I've seen this up close when we started the real world, and it started with an idea. Then we put it into practice. It came to fruition. And there's no massive infrastructure built at that point. Like there's no massive investment going into it. We're investing our time. We're investing our brain power into it. And that's about it. Like in the beginning, we sort of bootstrapped it. And then from there on out, once you start making money, once money is starting to come in, now you can invest in resources. But the real world started in exactly the way that he's describing now. Idea, implement it, start to get money in, solve problems as they come, as they always will, but at least you have money to solve the problems with. No massive setup, no massive investments up front. It's just a group of people going for it, bringing it to life.
You come at me with a business plan, my first question is, where's the money? When you want to start a business, the first question is, where's the money? How are you going to get paid? Is it PayPal? Is it Stripe? Is it Bitcoin? How are you going to get paid? How can people pay you? And how are you going to convince them to do that? How are you going to convince them to pay you? When you've worked that out, you can work the rest out. A business is money in, nothing else. That's lesson number 2. And that is extremely important because it's going to save you a bunch of fuck ups in the future.
Yeah, like I said before, like everyone messes this up. Everyone that I know has at one point messed it up, where you start focusing on other stuff and, you know, it doesn't really pan out. So always test small. So basically, to summarize everything, the lessons here. Cash is your number one priority. It's the lifeblood of your business. Everything should be centered around that when you start your venture, your business. Think about what's going to be my offer. How will I take money? How will I get money in? That should be first priority. How do I take payments? How do I set it up in a way where I get paid quickly so I can start doing all the other stuff that I need to do as a business person? And then lastly, test small. Like, mitigate the losses, test small, get a feel for how the market responds to your idea. And if you hit a winner, go big, double down on it, you know, go full force. But don't go full force because you're sure that this is an amazing idea, but because a lot of times you're going to be wrong. The market is weird sometimes. I don't know. Even me, when I was in certain markets where I was, you know, years and years and years of experience, I still got it wrong. And that's fine. That's what testing is for. So money in, number one priority, solves problems, keeps you alive. Test small, double down on your winners.